Unfortunately, it looks like Senate Democrats are going to give leeway to Republicans in passing an anti-shutdown bill. So for those of you who aren't aware, every, 3 months or something, every 6 months, the American government runs out of money because there's a limit to how much we can borrow. The limit is arbitrary. It can be raised by Congress. Every time this happens, it turns into a political battle. We're about to run out of money. The bill to allow for more spending narrowly passed the House with only one Democrat voting in favor of it. Now, despite in the Senate, the Republicans needing 7 Democrats to vote in favor of it, 8, because I think there's actually a Senate Republican who says that they won't vote in favor of it. It looks like Senate Democrats might back down. This is outdated now. Not enough Dems are defecting. Is that true? How do we know? Yeah, Rand Paul has said he's not voting against the stopgap measure. John Fetterman says he will vote to keep the government open. Thank you, John Fetterman. Thank you very much, Fetterman. They need 8 Dems. They only have 3. They only have 3 that have said they're going to. They only have 3 that they have said are going to. But we'll see.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries had this to say earlier. Let's take a look.
This partisan and reckless Republican spending bill fails to protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, which we know are on the Republican chopping block. It represents devastating cuts and an attack on seniors, families, and veterans. We cannot support this bill.
Impressively
so,
uncharismatic.
Brett, does it look like Jeffries is going to be able to keep Democrats united against the CR?
I think his job got a little easier when Republicans put out the text of this bill, which showed that it was not exactly just funding the government at sort of continuing levels, that it also included some Republican priorities around spending,
yep.
When it comes to immigration, defense. So I think that is something that Democrats and Hakeem Jeffries will be able to kind of rally around to keep their lawmakers unified and certainly.
Basically, Republicans want the excuse to pass through some of their political priorities, and they're doing so by threatening government shutdown. Just going to be unambiguous on this one. Democrats should allow the government to shut down. I don't care. Let it shut down for as long as it needs to. I don't really care. Democrats need to be so obstructionist that they make 2009 Republicans look like 2009 Democrats. They need to be insanely obstructionist. Okay, absolutely nothing. All right, we're not putting any goddamn funding bill through the Senate unless it specifically includes provisions for wokeness. All right, we need trillions of dollars going to wokeness, as if they're ever going to go for that. Unfortunately, several centrists have warned there's no clear endgame for ending a government shutdown if Democrats defeat the House-passed measure, which would increase defense spending by $6 billion, boost funding for border security, and cut non-defense programs by $13 billion. Great. The bill passed the House 217 to 213. The Dem defection is down to 2, 1 flip back to no after pressure. Good! Let the government shut down then. Let it end. It's insane, man. How bad this shit has gotten? Honestly, the way the government is right now, like it just freezing is the best case scenario. They're giving them 30 days. How long until the shutdown? Government shutdown date. This is like an actual force the vote situation. The Democrats have the ability to really extract. I agree, but Trump could use the shutdown to cut whatever he wants with no resistance. He already is. And with Democrats being unable to have good messaging, Trump could put the blame on them. Let him. Trump already blames the Democrats for everything. Trump's blaming the Democrats for the economic crisis he's causing, and he's already doing whatever he wants with no pushback. Like, all the bad things are already happening. Please call your senators today and tell them you'll do everything in your power to make sure they never hold office again, unless they vote against the funding bill. The way moderate Dems talk is actually crazy. The embodiment of Democratic Party resistance. They're throwing out the Constitution. I'm not sure how I'll vote in it. I don't feel that we've got leverage, said Hickenlooper, who has said he's not decided how he would vote. I feel we have the responsibility to deal with a difficult situation. Democrats need to defend the spending authority that the framers gave Congress, Hickenlooper said. We have to respect the balance of power our Constitution describes. Oh, man. Well, it's Hickenlooper, I guess. I don't know why I would expect anything else.
Let's bring in Torian Small now to talk about what has been this potential government shutdown. Torian, good morning to you. A continuing resolution passed the House. It now heads to the Senate, but it will need Democratic support there to pass. How likely is that?
Right. Good morning, Errol. So Republicans in the Senate have a much heavier lift than Republicans in the House did last night. Just a simple majority was required for this bill to pass through the chamber. But like you said, it's going to require Democrats in order for that to happen. You should also consider that Senator Rand Paul, the Republican senator from Kentucky, has already come out and said that he...
Do Dems not realize how bad Trump will look to have a recession and government shutdown in his first 100 days? I can't put myself in the mind of the average Democratic senator because I don't want to do that to myself. You know, I don't want to put myself in that position for harm. I just don't think they know how to use power. I don't think they know how to use power. I don't think they should have to use power. I think they think they're just bureaucratic administrators, and the idea of wielding leverage is just foreign to them.
Like his colleague in the House, Thomas Massey, is a hard no for this bill. So the threshold is now 8 Democrats that Republicans will have to seek in order to pass this measure. So far, leadership is encouraging its membership to not support this bill.
Can't Trump just paint Dems as obstructionists, as opposed to what he's already... I'm sorry, how could Trump possibly blame Democrats for the worsening of the country more than he already is? Like what? Like what extra hitherto unknown level of antagonism could Trump possibly be reserving for Democrats?
Instead, touting alternative bill that the Senate Republican or Senate Democrats and House Democrats have put forward that would see a continuing resolution fund the government through April. Democrats are unwilling to play ball with Republicans on their
Yeah,
bills.
it seems it's only Hickenlooper and Fetterman. This ain't enough for me, man. I need to see 47 no's. Okay. Yes on Fetterman. Hickenlooper, lean yes. Lean no. Undecided. Hate it, but not say. This ain't enough for me, man. Never underestimate the Democrats' ability to ruin your life. Okay. Never, never, ever. They're worse than you could imagine.
So it's likely this bill is dead, and we'll be fast approaching that deadline by this Friday, Errol.
All right, sobering stuff there. Torian in our DC.
I want every Dem to be threatened with primaries if they vote yes. God, I'm talking about the people who censored Al Green. That happened the day after I left for New York City. Holy shit, I was seeing red. What was it, 10 Democrats who voted on the censure? Yes on the censure in the House? Oh my God. Hi.
Is that small now to talk about what has been this potential government shutdown. Torian, good morning to you. A continuing resolution passed the House. It now heads to the Senate, but it will need Democratic support there to pass. How likely is that?
Right. Good morning, Errol.
Wait a second. I just watched this. What? You're not fooling me. The infinite brain damage of this of this news cycle. It's trying to get to me. It's trying to get to me. He's losing it. I've entered the torment nexus. Democratic senators, quote, furious at Schumer for not having a strategy and message to counter the House Republican bill. Oh, I bet. Let me see. Can I get any messaging from him on this? 1 second. Schumer shutdown funding bill. Just him perhaps being confronted in the Capitol building by somebody asking what his plan is, and he's like, I don't know. Has he spoken at all? I'm not seeing anything recent from him. 1 day ago, Schumer punts on how Senate Dems will handle GOP spending bill. Quote, we're going to wait to see what the House does first.
They should refuse to allow this bill to pass in the Senate.
If they don't?
I think there's going to be huge backlash from across the country, and I think all of them will have to deal with the consequences of that.
The Republicans have the White House, the Senate, and the House.
I know this lady.
If they want to do this, and if they want to screw over the American people, they can do this with their votes and their party. I do not believe that Democrats should participate.
But some Democrats may very well participate. Well, some of them are more concerned about a potential long-term government shutdown, which is why they may supply the votes at the end of the day. And the timing is critical, Wolf. 11:59 p.m. Friday night is the deadline for the Congress to pass a bill to avert a government shutdown. Today, this afternoon, Senate Democrats will huddle over lunch with Chuck Schumer, the minority leader, to decide how to proceed here. We'll see if they have a decision.
I do maintain that I really do think that it's not just Schumer and Jeffries being really bad at meeting the historical moment. I think that Schumer is just completely bought off and Jeffries is like 50 IQ. He's just so stupid. It might just be that he has like a fish face. He has like a villager from Innsmouth face, when you look at Jeffries. He just always looks like a deep sea angler that has been brought up to air for the first time in its life, and it's blinking up incomprehensibly at the world around it, you know? And I still think that Schumer just doesn't understand what to do now that the capital class has abandoned the Democrats.
Decision after that critical meeting.
Yeah, it's a critical decision for the Democrats to make. The Republicans need the Democrats in this specific piece of legislation.
Like, do you have to understand, or can you understand how incompetent or willfully useless you would have to be in this moment to not be broadcasting your message from the rooftop as Schumer? You are, for the first time in Trump's presidency, while he rapes the country to death, for the first time in this presidency, the Democrats have the ability to actually do something. They can prevent this bill from going forward. They can allow the shutdown to happen. Finally, they have the ability. They have their hands on the fulcrum to power. They have, not in an ambiguous fashion, not in a like, oh, well, you know, it's about a PR stunt. They can just do it. And he won't say anything. He won't talk.
In order to get the House version passed and the impact.
What leverage do we have, though? They just don't vote for it. They just vote no. That's it. That's the leverage. They can do it. You need to realize New York Dems are literally the ones ruining everything. Yeah, it's the New York Wall Street Dems. It's literally like, it's not every New York. Listen, I'll say this. It's not every New York Democrat, but there's a reason all the worst ones are New York Democrats. And there's a reason why the race to unseat Jamal Bowman was the most expensive primary in Democratic history. You know, Schumer just stated GOP won't be getting enough votes to pass it. Why is this the messaging that we're getting from Schumer? Schumer told Dems at lunch that Republicans don't have the votes to pass the House's CR. Dems will push for Murray's 30-day CR. That's his messaging? He's just like, oh, they don't have the votes. Me when I'm the Senate minority leader and the Senate majority is Adolf Hitler. Oh, yeah, they don't have the votes to do the Auschwitz bill. We're going to go with a different bill. What? I really hate them. Dems suck at messaging. Yeah, but Schumer is uniquely bad. Like Schumer is astonishingly bad. Well, either way, we'll see what happens. What different bill? Yeah, I actually don't know what the details are of the other, of Murray's bill. DeLauro Murray introduced short-term continuing resolution calling on Congress. Okay, hold on one second. Let me see what the, are there any details? They have until Friday, and this is only a 30-day continuation, so... I mean, to a point, Flevier, for a lot of them, I think it already has. Does this count as a detail? A reminder that we reported this AM that one of the strategies Dems were floating coming out of yesterday's lunch was to provide the votes for cloture in exchange for an amendment vote on Murray's 30-day CR. This allows Dems to say they voted to avert shutdown, then vote against House CR, which still passes with a simple majority. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see, man. I don't know, man. We'll see. I can't do this. I'm gonna crash the fuck out.